Too many models on your painting table? Let's build a 5 model warband for Arcworlde. Stay tuned. In this video we're going to take a deep dive into the Darklords faction and we're going to build a 5 model warband. Now, a Darklord warband wouldn't be a Darklord warband without a Darklord. Now the Darklords are kind of special in Arcworlde because they are one huge great model, but you can choose to tailor them in 4 specific different ways. So first of all, we're going to take a quick look at those different routes that you can take, because that will steer the overall way that you build your warband. The first type of Darklord is the Fell Warrior. They're an absolute martial art beast. They will destroy anything in their route and they eat up that energy as they destroy enemy models, and that gives them more AP. So every time they kill a model, they take an extra AP. So a Fell Warrior Darklord can go on absolute killing sprees across the board, killing anything in its wake. Next up is the Magic Darklord. Now these are the Dark Warlocks. These are the magic users, and it gives you the ability to take spells from the lore of villainy. Next up is the Master of the Horde. Now these give you a price reduction when buying hobgoblins, so you can really start to create a massed army with these. This is not something that we're going to specifically touch on in this video, but it is a really good way of playing the Darklords, especially for objective games where you need those hobgoblins to go out and capture key points across the battlefield. Your last choice with the Darklords is to go with the Beastmaster. Now this is a specific Darklord that has made some dark deeds with the monsters and creatures that inhabit the upper Arcworlde. You get a price reduction when adding beasts to your army, so you can really narrow in and get a very small army, but with some really big creatures on the battlefield. The Darklords are part of the Fey Beings group of factions. So when choosing your Darklord warband, not only can you take models from the Darklords faction, but you can also take models from the Wizards faction and the Wild Elves faction. So within each faction, there's a lot of choice there, and you can tailor your army specifically to a scenario or to the play style that you like to play. So let's have a look at this 5 model warband. It starts obviously with a Darklord, and we're going to take that Darklord as a Fell Warrior. He's going to cost us a whopping 210 gold pieces. The Darklord has 6 activation points, meaning that they can do 6 things across each round. They also have split activation, which means he can choose to do them in any order, and you can activate him, then stop, let your opponent activate a model, and then come back to the Darklord and activate him again. And you can do this as many times as you like until you've actually used all of your AP. The Darklords have a movement of 4, which is about average. They have a bravery stat of 9, meaning they're not really scared of anything. And they start the game with an enormous 20 hit points. They are an absolute tank. So now we've bought our Darklord and we've decided to make them a Fell Warrior. What next? Let's give them some equipment. Now they already start with heavy armour, meaning they can take 2 hits off of any attack that actually hits them. I like to give my Fell Warrior a 2-handed sword. Now, not only is this represented on the model so beautifully in the sculpt, but it also is going to give you 2 extra dice when you're attacking. I also give them a black potion, which is a healing potion, and I also then give them an Arcanite crystal as well. Now that we've equipped our Darklord, Let's have a quick look at how that's going to affect his stats when it comes to combat. The Darklords normally have a 2 AP attack called Malicious Strike, which would normally give you 7 attack dice. But with the two-handed sword, we're going to up that to 9 attack dice. The Darklords also have a 1 AP attack. Now this is called Choke, and it can cause the target of the attack to need to make a bravery test. This rolls 7 dice in attack and is also very good if you've only got 1 AP left. On top of these 2 close combat attacks, the Darklords also have a ranged attack with a range of 6 inches called Malevolent Gaze, which is a power 4 attack which can be very handy for just dealing out a little bit of damage here and there without getting too close to your opponent. So that rounds out construction of our Darklord as a fell warrior with a 2-handed sword. Now what else are we going to add to the warband to really sort of start filling in the gaps and give us a little bit more utility and versatility within the warband? So you've made it this far into the video, I'm going to ask you a favour. Can you leave us a comment? Maybe tell us what you're working on today. Your next choice is really going to be any number of hobgoblins. Now the hobgoblins are really your staple of the minions within the warband. They cost 35 gold pieces to buy. They have 5 hit points, 2 activation points, move 4 inches and a bravery stat of 6. So they really are kind of expendable, but you can send them out to capture objectives, and if you do what I like to do and take one with a spear, it also means you get a 2-inch range so you can park them on an objective and fend off your opponents. They have a 2 AP attack called Hack and Slash, which is a power 4. This is their main go-to attack, but they also have Gut Stab for 1 AP, which is power 3. As for equipping our hobgoblin, I like to give mine a spear, light armour, an Arcanite token, which they can always hand over to the Darklord, and a black potion for healing. Because they've only got that 5 health, sometimes I find that taking the black potion halfway through a game just keeps them in the battle for a little bit longer. So next up, we're going to fill the other 3 slots of this 5 model warband with underlings. Now the underlings are parts of the Darklord that he portions off to bring them into play. They don't start on the table at the start of the game, so this warband, we're only going to start each game with 2 models on the table. But the underlings, the Darklord can bring them onto the table, can summon them into the battlefield by just carving off parts of his own essence. He does this by taking a hit on his hit points. For each one that he summons in, it costs him 2 hit points. But the great thing is, if your opponent kills one, he gets the hit points back. So each of the 3 underlings we're going to take is going to cost you 20 gold pieces. So that's a further 60 gold pieces in total. But it means that we can keep summoning them back all the time we can afford to take damage on the Darklord to bring them into play. They have an AP of 2, a movement of 5, so they're a little bit faster than the rest of the stuff in the warband, which means they can get about the table a little bit faster. They have a bravery of 5, so they are susceptible to bravery tests, and they have a hit points of 4. What makes the underlings so versatile within a Darklord warband are their attack types. Again, like most models, they have a 2 AP attack and a 1 AP attack. Their 1 AP attack, called Nip, which is just a power 3, can be very handy for finishing a model off or putting a small amount of damage on a couple of times, so you can attack twice with that. Their 2 AP attack, however, is the Blazing Demise. Now, this is a blast effect attack that affects all models within 2 inches of it. They detonate themselves, and it gives you a 5 dice attack on all of the models that are affected. Now, obviously this can be very handy for taking out larger groups of models. This can also be very handy for shaping the battlefield. By sending an underling into a group of models, if a player is aware of this attack, they will spread the models apart, making it possibly easier for your Darklord to come in and attack models individually rather than having to fight everyone all at once. So that gives you a really good start with the Darklords. But what would you buy next? How would you expand on that core force? Well, there's a few different routes you could take. There's a couple of extra special hobgoblins. There's one that can control other hobgoblins and can help them to be a little bit braver on the battlefield by keeping them in check. That's the hobgoblin honcho. There's also the Firestarter hobgoblin. Now these are specifically for running around and setting fire to things and causing chaos and mayhem on the battlefield. My personal choice is the Hellbeast. It's not cheap at 160 gold pieces, but comes with a flying model so it can move around the battlefield very easily, but also an ability to pick models up and fly them to other places, to drop models and to swoop down and knock models prone on the battlefield. It comes with 2 strength 5 attacks and a strength 8 attack that can also knock models prone. Like the Darklord themselves, also has split activation. And on top of all of that, they are fearsome, so they create fear in your enemy. So to recap, by buying the starter set for the Darklords from Warp Miniatures, we've been able to build a 5 model warband for Arcworlde. To get you started in the game, you just need to buy and paint 5 models. Now most people can manage that. That's going to give you your Darklord, a hobgoblin and 3 underlings. Obviously if you wanted to add to it, you've got the other choices of hobgoblins, and you've also got my personal choice, which is the Hellbeast. So guys, I hope this deeper look video has been useful to you, and I hope it's given you a little bit of an insight into the Darklords faction of Arcworlde. Please do drop us a comment below and check out our other Arcworlde content. There'll be things up here for those. So for now, a huge thank you to everyone who's supporting the channel already. Please continue to like and subscribe and all of those things, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.